Japan's new Prime Minister,
Rie, you are there? No, she's not there.
Shinzo Abe, sparked outrage in Asia and beyond when he recently said that there was no evidence that Japan's...
The 2007, this is Zakaria interviewed the Fuji Sankei newspaper's president or somebody. His name is coming here. But this is the best video in all the way, all my preparation. Okay.
Army had forced women to work in military brothels during World War II. The acknowledgement of and apologies for the so-called comfort women has been a stumbling block to better relations with Japan's powerful neighbors China and South Korea. We are joined by Yoshihisa Komori of Japan's daily Sankei Shimbun.
Yoshihisa Komori.
This hot topic. Komori?
Just what I need to tell. Okay, just where? Yeah, you are here? No, you're not here. Okay, I just. It's easy. Okay.
And why did Abe feel he had to make that statement?
Because he has been asserting that the Japanese military, as a matter of policy, never coerced the recruitment of young women in Asia. There have been some isolated cases where soldiers and officers who were defying the order from the above forcefully taken away some unfortunate ladies, young ladies in China or Indonesia. But again, there's no proof that the Japanese military as a policy as a whole did such thing.
But the number of women involved, the scale of it, seems to suggest some kind of systematic effort. And the women themselves claim that they were made to do this. They were almost screened by military authorities. So it does seem to have a systemic or institutional aspect to the policy.
Yes, I think Japanese...
Exactly, he asked a good question.
Yeah.
But the Komori said very accurate answer.
People acknowledge that there's a systematic involvement or systematic running of brothels or prostitution, a systematic way. But again, based on a voluntary basis. And there were people,
I mean, voluntary by the military officers, not by the women.
No, by women. There were. But you may...
So he explained very well explanation, but this is 2007. But the American government forget it, not neglect, they forget it.
Forget it.
And also the all global people, they do not watch this video. So they actually American cabinet passed a bill of Mr. Honda, who is Korean, the bill toward Comfort Woman. And they started to build a statue of Comfort Woman. But beforehand, he made this kind of comment. But nobody watched it.
You may be surprised to hear this, but there are lots of newspaper ads and some other commercial advertisement for recruitment for those women. But remind you that sadly, the prostitution per se was legal in those days, not just in Japan. And there's between women and the Japanese military, there's a huge number of business people who were running these brothels for the military, maybe at the request of military. So, yes, military was involved, but military...
He said military was, yes, involved. Military never, the policy was coercing those women, not coercing, coercing. He tell the truth. But Kono Yohei and Murayama, they didn't tell that. Military is not involved. Right?
Never as a policy coercing those women.
So Japanese government, the foreign ministry said, not accurate. Deny everything or accept everything. Kono accept everything, and Abe denied everything, and this is vice versa, vice versa. Denied, accept, deny, accept. What's your opinion? He said, true story.
It's a sort of complexity of
but there are certainly women who claim to have been coerced.
There are a few cases. coerced by the...
Yeah, he said few cases coerced by those merchants of prostitution. Yes, yes, we did. Right? Few cases, a few cases. I don't know, 10,000 or 30,000, but they existed.
Merchants of prostitution, and sometimes the whole family was in debt. Instead, their parents decided to pretty much sell. It's a human trafficking of a very saddest form.
Yeah, human trafficking. This is the same thing happened in Japan, right? Same.
Those soldiers daughters to prostitution houses in exchange for some money. So in that case, on an individual basis, on the part of women, yes, there's a coercion.
But the military was paying for it just to get at this institutional nature of the sex trade. As I understand it, the soldiers were not paying for the prostitution.
No,
the military, as an institution, was contracting with the intermediaries,
right,
buying the services of these women,
right,
and providing them to its soldiers.
No, but each soldier was paying. That's
individually.
Okay, he denied Zachariah's opinion. No, each soldier was paying that.
That's a whole record. And many of the women, again, I don't want to sound like endorsing those sad, obviously wrong acts. But the fact remains, on one hand, that some of the women are making a lot of money. On the record, they are sending.
He said, coerced women, and the other way around is women got a lot of money. Okay, both things happen. He does not deny. Okay.
Taking their money home and then to their parents, and some of them are making much more money than the Japanese Prime Minister.
But you're saying that the military, in its official capacity, never paid for these services.
No, they probably paid for the people who are running prostitution.
And the setup. I mean, these.
It's very interesting. Also, he's admitted the Japanese government or military paying for this is owner of brothers, pay money for them. Probably, he said.
Itself, it's not.
But there was a setup. There were houses in which, on military camps, there were places where this was being done. The military must have been housing these people.
Yes, that's right.
They created the infrastructure.
They created the infrastructure, and for that, the Japanese government and successive prime ministers acknowledged the wrongdoing of the past and apologized.
Why is it that apology, if it was made, seems to be one that has not been accepted or taken as a real apology in either South Korea or China?
So there's a certain elements outside Japan that would never seem to willing to accept the Japanese apology. Succession, all the Japanese prime ministers in the past 14 years, 15 years, individually or collectively apologized, but that's not enough. And so now they say that we have to pass a diet resolution for apology. That the hurdle has been always been raised. But remind you, this is a part of the war effort, and the whole war effort conducted by Japan was punished to death. We pay the price. All those war criminals have been tried and executed. The entire nation of Japan subjected itself to the winners of the victors of the World War II, resulting in a lot of execution and reparation in the San Francisco Peace Treaty.
Okay, he said he's very good, right? And based on his speech in 2014, Sankei newspaper published a book exactly the same as what he said. 2014, 2014.
And all that.
I bought this book.
So what more can we do? That's our feeling. That's the nitpicking. I think the essence of this issue from Japanese perspective is a double jeopardy, double standards, and tinge of racism. Why do we have to be held responsible for ever and ever for something that our people, 2 generations, 3 generations ago did? And we acknowledge that was a wrong thing. And we atoned it. We apologized for it. But again, somehow the way we apologized was not enough. Or the way we paid money was not enough. This comes again and again and again. And look at Japan now. It's a very democratic, have a lot of faith in the democracy, humanism, and we have been making a very significant contribution to the international humanitarian causes, ODA or other forms. Why do we have to be so, attacked and put in a sort of an inferior position morally?
You said racism, but the attacks are...
But he said a lot of, he's actually saying, but still, this is 2007. But since then, Honda, that member, criticized Japanese, Comfort woman, and American Congress passed a bill to criticize Japanese Comfort woman, and then started to building statue of Comfort woman. And this is Zacharias. This news is very good, but Japanese is very poor to or reluctant to explain what we did or what we compensated. This is very good, video, right?
Coming from South Korea and China, the United States has actually been very quiet on this issue as an official matter.
Well, look at the what's going on in the House of Representatives in the U.S.
No, I mean the executive branch has not been pushing you hard on this. It's China and South Korea that you're facing the most criticism from.
So criticism now coming is from the United States. New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, Boston Globe.
Yeah, what he's saying, also economists, every newspaper criticize Japanese Comfort woman, even if it's kind of presentation.
Bashing Japan and Japanese leadership as if there's something wrong in Japanese DNA. None of us was around when this thing happened. A comparison between Germany and Japan, what the Nazi Germany did, just annihilation, premeditated decision made at the top of the national government to annihilate one entire race, ethnic group, that had nothing to do with the war. Whereas in Japan, there's no such thing as remotely. Everything that Japan had been accused of happened in the battlefield with the parties, warring parties.
You know that it causes problems for Japan and East Asia, particularly with the Chinese and the South Koreans, whatever the merits of the issue. Why did the Prime Minister feel he had to do something like this now? Is it, some people claim, some people claim that he has been losing ground in the polls, he needed to shore up his support, and this was a way of throwing an issue to his nationalistic right-wing base?
No, I really have to make the turn the table around. That Prime Minister Abe only reacted to the bunch of questions raised by Japanese reporters on the resolution that was brought and about to be voted on in the House of Representatives of the United States. So our question is why? Why do they have to bring up this issue now? We haven't said anything about this. We have not either negatively or positively. So only because of this House of Representatives resolution did Abe have to say something. Because the resolution specifically called for unequitable something apology, the national apology or something, which Abe said that his predecessor have apologized. So he doesn't need to apologize anymore.
But he also said that the military was not involved in an official capacity.
So official capacity was not that policy. I mean, that's pretty much an established fact. I mean, you really have to show us, when military at the top of the top level made a decision, any proof that they are coercing, they are ordering the coerced recruitment of young women.
How does Japan get out of this situation? When Japan tried to get permanent status, a permanent seat in the UN Security Council, it was stunning how little support it had. I mean, in all of Asia, the only country that gave it its qualified support was Singapore. So how, and this despite the fact that Japan has given tens of billions of dollars of aid to all these countries. I think it's almost 30 billion to China alone. How does Japan get out of this trap where its image seems tied to what happened during World War II and its reaction and its handling of that past?
The past 50 years or so, I think Japanese attitude, as well as government policy, is to say nothing against any charges, just by showing our democratic nature and humanitarian policy, by policies. But certainly that didn't work. So I think what you may be seeing from now if the Japanese leadership or Japanese people are speaking out. For instance, there's no such thing as a military top decision or policy decision to coerce women, even though there are people who say there was. But so now, I think I think people more and more to be speaking out and engaged in a dialogue, a discussion, or debate.
He's very good speech, right? And he said dialogue and discussion on among the foreigners, and we need to debate. None of those doing any debate.
Yes.
They are talking about only in Japanese, a Japanese discussion. So overseas people, they are Japanese reluctant to explain what we did, but also, but first of all, they don't know what we did, our history, like us. March 1st, the protest, how many people killed, the Japanese army killed, nobody knows. So we should know that history, and what is the key in history, we should know that. I show you beforehand. And what he said, right?
I think quietly accepting any charge, and then by doing all those good things, just doesn't work. So there's a profound disappointment, sadness, resentment on the part of many people in Japan now. You may be seeing a new Japan, because this is seriously beginning to erode the Japanese-American alliance. Because the kind of people whose pride and other feelings are hurt by this incessant accusation against Japan are the people who are most vigorously supported the alliance. Based on democracy with the United States, or with countries like India or Australia, Britain or France. But somehow they take something, because there's even behind this current move against Japan, there's a Chinese move, because Congressman Mike Kondo of California has been receiving a huge amount of political donation from Chinese activists who are associated with the Chinese organization. And interesting, there's very little support activists from Korea. So I see this as a diplomatic maneuver on the part of certain countries to keep Japan in an emasculated way or inferior way, just as if portraying Japan as if something is a country or the people who are sort of genetically wrong, something inferior. So that's how strongly I feel.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
And why that he just insert the comment? Without the comment, I think overseas people believe this video, right? This is a problem. Always Japanese is right wing want to make a comment, always. So American people misunderstand. We need to get American people support for us, otherwise Japanese cannot